Patan is an epicenter of Nepalese arts and craft. Nepal, as a nation for home for Himalayas and land of Shakyamuni Buddha, welcomes over 1 million visitors every year. Even if the trekking in the Himalayan region is actually what they're looking for, the city's extensive Buddhist sites is well worth a stopover. Amid the dense urban sprawl, there are thousands of monuments, monasteries and shrines, along with impressive example of Newar architectural sites, historic reminders of Valley's indigenous inhabitants. Newar Buddhist still represents a majority of population in this ethnically and culturally diverse city. Located to the south of Patan, where the spot I'm standing right now is our today's destination, our pilgrimage destination, Maha Budha Temple, originally known as Maha Bodhi Mandap, which is one of the several popular attractions of culture worth stopping by if you're walking around this ancient Patan city. Patan is just 5 kilometers away from capital city Kathmandu. Patan Square is listed in UNESCO World Heritage Site, which itself is an outstanding added value to humanity, with the major attraction being the old royal palace where the Malla King resided, and also the host of artistically designed temples within the square. Alongside the Patan Square, you could see rows and rows of these kinds of traditional Ayurvedic shops just below the traditional Newari architectural styled home. These kinds of Ayurvedic shops provide medicinal purposes, which acts as a savior to so many people on related to medicinal purposes and all of the health problems as a healing purposes, which have been searched from years and years, and the beliefs that the people hold to the medicines they serve, they provide from these kinds of traditional Ayurvedic shops, works as a magic and savior to so many health problems related to muscle, joint pain, stomach pain, and all of the major health problems, issues, which they have been catering since ages. These shops have been providing a healing and a savior to so many people since ages. We have reached to our today's pilgrimage destination, Maha Budha Temple, originally known as Maha Bodhi Mandap. This Shikara-style structured temple is very unique and well-conserved temple within the Patan Valley. Around the world, you could find similar Shikara-style structure, but for Nepal, it's one of a kind. Just on the other side of the entrance, I could see a wonderful quote and the teaching of Buddha that says, not to do devil, to cultivate merits and to purify one's mind. What a beautiful thought and a start to our today's pilgrimage destination, to a wonderful place called Maha Budha Temple, originally known as Maha Bodhi Mandap. Likewise, I'd like to remind to all my spiritual followers that we are on a journey to take you to the places where Buddha resides. Take a small note of the entrance charge you need to pay at the second entrance to our today's destination, Maha Budha Temple, where you have to pay a certain amount to international tourists and visitors from SAARC country. You need to pay a Nepali rupees 50. That also covers the accessibility to the entrance of the very famous monastery called Woku Bahal. We have already covered the nooks and corners and the essence of Woku Bahal in our previous episodes of Pilgrimage Tour. I will get you all a link below. The episode of Woku Bahal will definitely help you gain insight and useful information information on histories of King and Patan as a whole. Also at the entrance, you could find a very famous quote and some useful information of this divine and holy Buddhist temple. Maha Budha Temple, originally known as Maha Bodhi Mandap, is widely known as Temple of Thousands of Buddhas because of its engraved terracotta tiles that cover the stone structure. It is often called Temple of Thousands of Buddhas for the very sole purpose because the Buddha image is engraved on every brick and the stone that covers the entire stone structure under the tile. Also, Maha Budha Temple is built in the year 1564, and this divine, holy Buddhist temple is purely dedicated to Siddhartha Gautama, the historical Buddha. Let us follow the interior path that encircles this divine Shikara style structure of Maha Budha Temple, and while encircling the path, I personally felt awestruck with its intricate detail craftsmanship that looks beyond the world. During the various other reconstruction and renewal phases, a small Shikara-style structure, very similar to the divine Maha Budha Temple, was constructed alongside during the regime of Prime Minister Juddha Shamsher Rana. I am now standing in front of this similar Shikara-style structure, but in smaller version, where the statue of Shakyamuni Buddha, Mother Mahamaya Devi, has been installed and mounted. According to Buddhist legend, Mahamaya Devi, mother of Siddhartha Gautama, dreamt that a white elephant with 6 tusks entered her right side, which was interpreted to mean as she has conceived a child which would either become a world's ruler or a Buddha. The question lies here, who created this masterpiece? The construction was initiated by a priest and a very famous scholar, Abhiraj Shakya of Patan, and members of Ruku Bahal Monastery. Its Shikara is modelled on a very famous Mahabodhi temple of Bodh Gaya of Patna, which is located in India. Abhiraj Shakya visited the very famous Mahabodhi temple of Bodh Gaya of India, where he studied coin making. Back his return in Kathmandu, he was installed as coin maker by king. As a lucrative operation, his copper production, his advanced knowledge in copper production was in high demand in those times. Although very famous scholar and priest died before the completion of the construction of this divine Maha Budha Temple, his descendants labored the monuments for 3 generations for almost 36 years, completing the construction of this temple by the year 1600. The consecration of this temple was witnessed by King Shiva Simha Malla, who conquered Lalitpur in 1597 and ruled both Kathmandu and Lalitpur until his death in 1619. Each of these 7 sons of priest Abhiraj Shakya worked for finishing the completion of this temple. The belief holds that one of his sons was about to pass away when the goddesses appeared and continued the project. This divine temple was heavily damaged during the earthquake of 1933, and the extensive restoration project facilitated with much of the repair. Also, during the earthquake, of 2015 April of Nepal, a mild damages were seen. But the most interesting part here is the restoration processes took place at peak and very quick and taken into much serious consideration. The most inspiring part here is these pilgrimage sites are very well protected, for the fact being restoration phase happens at a very quick phase and taken into much consideration, a serious consideration in fact. Also, the timely repair and renovation processes of these heritages, for the need to protect and preserve these heritages through local and various kinds of organization, brings out a very positive messages to the world and also throws a significantly important cultural identity that we Nepalese hold. It feels quite honored and privileged to interview Mr. Shakya, who is the president of Maha Budha Service Committee and who have been serving this committee since a decade. Let him tell us the stories behind the story of this divine and mystical historical Buddhist temple, Maha Budha Temple. As I always tell you, let the ancient side tell us the stories how great human beings serve the mankind. Historical Maha Budha Temple, like केही बताइदिन।
अब यहाँ के छ भन्देखि विशेष गरी यो महाबुद्ध सेवा समिति भन्नाले यो मन्दिर मात्र हैन, यहाँ विद्यार्थी छ, यहाँ अब त्यही गुठीहरू छ, पूजाआजाको व्यवस्थापन, यो जग्गा जमिनको सबै व्यवस्थापन हामीले यो महाबुद्ध सेवा समिति 2013 सालबाट यो गठन गरेर अहिलेसम्म यो यहाँको सबै व्यवस्था गर्नलाई सबै व्यवस्थापन गरिरहेको छ। अनि यो मन्दिरको लागि छुट्टै गर्नको लागि हामीले 2056 सालमा एउटा अर्कै महाबुद्ध मन्दिर संरक्षण समिति भन्ने पनि गरिरहेको छ। अब खास गरी समग्र रूपमा यो महाबुद्ध सेवा समितिले यहाँको पूजा आजा, आर्थिक, धार्मिक, सांस्कृतिक पक्ष सबैमा व्यवस्था गर्ने कार्य गरिरहेको छ।
टिबेटियन्सहरूले यो महाबुद्ध टेम्पललाई साङ्गे ताङ्गु टेम्पल भन्ने गरिन्छ र धेरै जसो चाइना, तिब्बत, मङ्गोलियाबाट धेरै फरेनर्स, टुरिस्टहरू आउने गरिन्छ। के बिलिफ, के धार्मिक रिजनले आउने गर्दछ?
उहाँहरूको कथन अनुसार के छ भनेदेखि अब यो यसमा अब 9000 बुद्धको मूर्ति छ भने हो छ। अब हामी यसलाई महाबुद्ध मन्दिर भन्छौँ, उहाँहरूले साङ्गे टुङ्गु भनेको, साङ्गे भनेको शाक्यमुनि बुद्ध भयो, टुङ भनेको 1000, गु भने 9000 बुद्ध मूर्ति। यो एउटा मन्दिर घुमेपछि 9000 बुद्ध परिक्रमा गर्नु, त्यसको पुण्य प्राप्त हुन्छ।
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। Thank you so much for his insightful information. On asking Mr. Shakya what kind of visitors could we expect and witness here, this is he had to say. Beside local devotees and admirer of intricately detailed wood carving and stone carvings admirer, I'm very surprised to have known one of the clan of the very famous priest and scholar Abhay Raj Shakya, a man behind this historical and famous Maha Budha temple. He is one of the descendant and generation of Mr. Shakya. Let's get to hear some of the importance and significance of the religious items we see in and around the temple. First and foremost question I'd like to ask is how it feels to be connected with Mr. Abhay Raj Shakya, the holy man and the soul man behind this holy temple. How does it feel to have been connected with his generation?
Well, it's a feel that everybody feels, because we feel proud of our forefathers that they have made such a beautiful world-famous temple in Lalitpur Valley. So we are very grateful, and we would like to express our gratitude towards our forefathers.
Yeah, personally, I feel he is a very privileged and a blessed grandson to be associated with such a holy personality. One thing I like to ask is, I could see beautiful statues of Vajra installed in almost all of the entrance of the shrines I've come across. Tell us the significance, importance.
Well, yes, in all the Buddhist temple, in front of the Buddha, there is mandala and then the Vajra. So the teachings of Buddha is all about how to get rid of suffering, because suffering, impermanence, and no soul is the trademark of the Buddhism. And so all the sentient beings, they have to suffer in their life. So this is the teachings of Buddha is to getting rid of suffering. So the teachings of Buddha this is the symbol of the Vajra, because the teachings of Buddha is not breakable. Vajra is not breakable by any means. Vajra is concrete. So as that, the teachings of Buddha is also the concrete, and I would love to say Buddha is the super scientist, super doctor, super human beings.
Thank you so much. Tibetans call this Buddhist holy temple Sangye Tangu. For the meaning, it is widely referred as Temple of 9,000 Buddhas, and it is believed that only encircling one path in and around the vicinity of this Buddhist temple is equivalent to worshipping 9,000 Buddhas. So therefore, the visitors mainly from China, Mongolia pays a visit to this divine temple all throughout the year. Iconic statues are engraved in a stone called terracotta arts. This Shikara model structure of Maha Budha Temple has 7 floors, meaning 7 levels. Among the 7 levels, the lower base, we could come across the statue of Bhumi Sparsha Buddha facing the north side of the entrance, where we could see a Buddha seated with the right hand as a pendant over the right knees, also touching towards the ground and also reaching towards the ground and touching the lotus throne with palm inward. This gesture in Buddhism means the moment of Buddha's awakening, as the Buddha claims the earth as his evidence of. To the south, on the same floor level that happens to be on the base of this Shikara model structure, we could come across the statue of future Buddha. The Buddha in the standing gesture, it is also called Maitreya Buddha. According to Buddhist tradition, Maitreya is a bodhisattva that will appear on earth in future, achieve complete enlightenment and teach us pure dharma. To the north side of the same lower base of the Shikara style structure of Maha Budha Temple, we could come across the statue of past Buddha. The Tathagata Dipankar Buddha is facing to the north of this lower base. He is said to be lived on the earth in 100,000 eons ago. The first entrance to the other level floor of this divine Maha Budha temple, it looks very narrowed and complicated, but I'm sure the view to the top will be magical and worthwhile. You literally have to stoop forward for the entrance, and throughout the levels, you could see various statues of deities that really holds the way to a very divine floors and levels of this temple. The staircase to reach the other levels and floors of Maha Budha temple is quite narrowed and complicated, as you all can see what I am going through, but I'm sure the view from the top will be worthwhile, all of these steps. First, the leg and the head is what the procedure to enter to the very first floor of this divine temple. Among the other four, I have reached to the first floor of this temple where I've come across the statue of Amitabha Buddha, who is widely known as Buddha of compassion and happiness. He's also called the Buddha of infinite merits and infinite lights. He is the Buddha that fills the savior role among other Buddhas. So I am walking onto the second floor of this Shikara modeled structured temple, and even on the way to the first floor, the way onto the second level floor of this Shikara model structure is exactly the same. We came through the first floor. So, on reaching the second level floor of this Shikara model structured historical temple, Maha Budha Temple, I have come across a very beautiful stone paved stupa called Pancha Jinale Stupa. I have come across a very beautiful stone paved stupa called Pancha Jinale Stupa. In Nepali, stupa is called Chaitya, so it could be referred as Pancha Jinale Chaitya. Mainly, Chaitya are in hemispherical shape or a mount-like structured, which is believed to have containing the relics and remains of the famous Buddhist legends, and that used to be a place of meditation according to Nepalese culture. Gazing through the second level floor of this divine historical temple feels no less than winning a battle. It's a real struggle and ultimate victory even to reach on this level. If you're wondering, I am sitting on the staircase which will lead us to the third floor, the level of this Shikara model structure. But the sad part is, I apologize because me along with my team would not be able to proceed to the top since this wooden step is quite critical, and likewise it's out of our reach to move on to the next level of this temple. So I will be briefing on what's in 4th, 5th, 6th and the top level of this temple. It is said that on the 4th and 5th level of the Shikara style structure, there is Dharma and Vajra Dhatu. According to Mahayana tradition, Dharma Dhatu is a realm of truth, realm of phenomena, and a nominion. It is believed to have the deepest of truth and deepest of essence. Among the other levels or floors of the historical Maha Budha Temple, on the 6th floor we could come across a beautiful stupa which is called Sunya Niranjan Swarna Mahabihar Stupa. Stupa in Nepali is called Chaitya, likewise Sunyata is called emptiness, and Mahabihar is known to be a monastery. According to Buddhist philosophy, it means from which all of the apparent entities, dualities, and distinction from which it arises, and it also holds a specific meaning as to from where all of our It also holds a very specific meaning as to from where all of human being and living beings arises is zero, and our existence when we end up being towards a zero. Even getting through the stairway is quite a struggle. I'm actually running short of my breath, and I could only reach to the 3rd floor and the level of the historical temple, since on the entrance the stairway to the 4th floor was quite narrowed and had a huge gap which was beyond impossible to move on. So yeah, at least we could reach to the level we could justify our claim. Encircling the exterior pathway on the 1st floor has quite a spacious way to actually walk through and mesmerize in and around the structure and the traditional Newari architectural that the Patan city holds. And as you can see from here, the fences are quite shorter, but the view is worthwhile. This Buddhist holy site serves a divine example of artwork and traditional craftsmen, of artisans who have been practicing this skill since generations and centuries now. To this date, we have exceptionally highly skilled craftsmen who have been equally making beautifully, intricately detailed wood carvings and stone carvings, also intricately detailed statues of idols and statues. And this shrine happens to hold the best and perfect example of Nepalese craftsmanship. I am now at the part of the building which is at the surrounding of the courtyard of the temple Maha Budha. This is the one corner of the surrounding courtyard where the morning and evening prayers, recitation of mantras and rituals take place along with the main priest of the temple and devotees. To anyone who have niches over masterpieces and an absolute admirer of intricately carved, detailed architectural piece, this is a place you wouldn't want to miss once in a lifetime. I, Alicia Bajracharya, with my entire team from Bodhi Television, would like to bid a farewell for now, but before that, I'd like to add up something. Our entire television is purely dedicated to take our spiritual followers to the path and course of spirituality into your life. We have been constantly coming with ideas and programs to help you rebuild and have a better perspective on life as a whole. Having said that, I would like to bid a farewell for now. Until our next episode, keep loving and supporting us. Namaste.